Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Schnorple back at it again. And today I'm just gonna kind of talk, just kind of air out my thoughts because I have them, and I think they're thoughts that other people have. It just hasn't really bubbled up to the surface for most people yet. So I just want to get ahead of the curve and just kind of give my thoughts. So we all know the game Marvel Rivals, don't we? Pretty fun, pretty cool, pretty great. I've never played it on the channel, but I have played it for other videos like Applecaster and my other channel, Apple Sauce. Go check that out if you want occasional podcasts. I do have a podcast called the Apple Sauce Podcast, whatever. The point is, I have played the game a lot. I've played it since it first officially came out. I would say that it's a pretty fantastic game. I love the art direction. I love the way it plays. I love the use of Marvel characters. I think it's just an absolute slam dunk, a home run, if you will. Just a really fun, slightly unbalanced playground to just be Marvel characters and shoot each other and stuff, and that is fun. That's what I would have said about 10 months to a year ago, because ever since it's come out, I think the state of Marvel Rivals has really declined, and I think that the game itself has some serious longevity issues that were apparent from the very beginning, but it was such an exciting prospect that no one really cared. And there's a lot of issues that have become prevalent over the past few months. So I've got a couple bullet points of things I want to touch on. One that is my main thing, but I'm going to bring it towards the end because I think that is just a little bit, there's a lot more meat there to talk about. I want to start off with something that has become especially prevalent this season. Whatever season it is right now, the changing of team-ups has really shaken up the game in a way that, to me personally, makes it almost unplayable. And I want to make this clear, I'm not like some turbo comp player. I don't even play comp, I play the game casually. If you think that makes me ineligible to give my opinion, then go hang yourself. As a casual player that's a human being and not a virgin who's sucked into the game at all times, the game is simply not fun, and it's nearly unplayable. Now, originally in Marvel Rivals, team-ups were these fun little extra abilities that characters can have if you have certain heroes on your team. And that's a little bit different of a balancing mechanic for teams that you usually would see in something like Overwatch or Valorant or whatever. I mean, it was really cool and it was really refreshing, but it had its flaws. Some characters were stuck purely as team-up anchors, where they got no special abilities, but they gave someone else an ability. And that's extremely boring. So with this newest season, they kind of went back and revamped the system, which I was excited for. I was really excited for this change because this is cool. Basically, every character now has two abilities you can choose from that are team-up abilities. You get a base ability or effect that you just have at all times if you have it equipped, and that ability gets more advanced or stronger when you have that person on your team, which sounds really good. But when I finally fired up the game and tried testing some of them out, I was pretty disappointed. Now, it's an extreme ask to have two abilities for every single hero in the game from now to whenever the game stops that are equally balanced and equally useful. But it did suck to see that some abilities were just objectively better than others. I think every ability has its place to shine, but most of them, you just pick that one and then you never switch off of it. And what made it a little more annoying to me is that the best one is usually already picked for you by default. So I think on a balancing level, these abilities are kind of underbaked in some ways. Some of them are super fucking cool and really fun to play with, but sometimes it can feel really underwhelming. But my bigger gripe with these team-ups, other than balance, because those things can be changed, whatever. My biggest problem is that a lot of characters now have brand new abilities with new VFX, and for some characters, it is impossible to see what the hell is going on. Every single character has gotten a new ability. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but when you're trying to know what's going on screen, it's an absolute nightmare. And this issue extends beyond team-ups, of course. I think the number one perpetrator of this issue is, without a doubt, Devil Dinosaur. I think he's a really cute character, but I hate him with a fucking passion. I'll probably never be able to get footage of it, but I played a game with the Devil Dinosaur in the Fuzzy Jeff skin, and I wanted to punch a hole in my monitor because I was just trying to mind my own business, and then this fucking dinosaur keeps shoving his ass in my face no matter what. And it's especially worse because of the Jeff skin. He's so fat in that fucking thing that he takes up even more space somehow. But it gets worse when he has something like his shield, which is clear, but it has these stars on them and it's not fully clear. So it can really get in your way if you're inside of it or near it. If there's a devil dinosaur inside of a hallway, don't even bother. Because friend or foe, you're not going to be able to see. You're going to lose. There are limits to the size that you can make characters. And it disappoints me, personally, to see that devil dinosaur exceeds that limit. I don't think making him smaller would really fix anything, because then he's not really dinosaur-sized. I think including him was just a bad move. I think the biggest a character can get without completely hindering everyone around him is Monster Hulk. I don't think any character should really get bigger than that. So, visibility this season is atrocious. And frankly, I don't see them really being able to, like, step that back. I think it's only ever going to get worse. Because, I mean, what are you going to do? Change the VFX to just be invisible? I mean, you can't really do that. It's just fundamentally flawed game design, I think. So to compound onto my issues with the visuals, I love the style of the game. I think it looks fantastic. I wouldn't want it any other way. But the game is so horrifically unoptimized, and up until recently, it is just unbelievably huge. The game is currently at like 60 gigabytes, which is pretty huge, but whatever, it's fine. But it was much, much bigger than that before. I'm pretty sure we just got optimized recently, and that cut out like 40 gigabytes, which it just blows my mind how this can even happen. You know, I'm not a game dev. I don't know how optimization really works, but it blows my mind that this game has gone through 2 optimizations and a low-res texture pack, and it still was fucking huge. I don't think this is just purely a Marvel Rivals issue. I think this is a gaming industry issue where developers now just don't even think about optimizing. They just build the game and build it and build it and build it and make it HD as fuck, you know, 8K textures, just like junk floating around in the game. I don't know what makes it so big, but they've had to optimize it 2 times now and make a lower res texture pack. It's just, how does it get this bad? At what point did we stop caring about graphics? At what point did we stop even just thinking about how this will run on people's shit? And I kind of have an idea. It's not objective by any means. It's just a theory, a game theory perhaps. I think when we entered this age of like high quality textures and like an Unreal Engine fucking 5, you know, we're at a time now where most things can handle realistic graphics, they can handle high fidelity gameplay. You know, there aren't the same mechanical limitations that old hardware had. And it made it so that the developers don't even have to consider the limitations of the hardware that they're going to be putting this onto, because what they're putting this on is next gen and it can handle anything. So it doesn't even matter if it's unoptimized, because computers and Xboxes and PlayStations are so beefy that they can just handle it. And if they can't, that's your problem. You have to go and upgrade your PC. It's not us. Like, let's not forget Starfield, which was the most unoptimized piece of shit in the world, and then Todd Howard was just like, it is optimized. What are you talking about? We did that. This is a next-gen game. Just upgrade your PC, dude. It's not that hard. And I think that's just kind of the mindset of everyone who makes video games now. My game is unoptimized? No. You just need a better graphics card, dude. Your PC just fucking sucks. Like, optimizing a game is an art in a way. It's essentially, it just requires a whole team of people at this point. And I don't think those teams even exist until after the game is already out. Like Marvel Rivals, it's taken over a year to become the size that it is. Thankfully for me, I haven't had performance issues to really much of a degree, but I know that they're incredibly common because the game is built like dog shit. Speaking of games built like dog shit, held together by duct tape and glue, that's Minecraft. I'm just gonna say that to get your mind going. That might be a whole nother video for another day. But it really bothers me to see that games they don't even care to optimize them. They don't care to make them a reasonable size, because you're a gamer. You have 4,000 terabytes free, don't you? And if you don't, just buy more space. It's that easy. You should at least have one SSD dedicated purely to Call of Duty. Optimization should be a step in the creation pipeline before the game comes out. Though I'm glad it happened, I think it is embarrassing that a 40 gigabyte clear out had to happen in Marvel Rivals. Like, maybe it wouldn't be such an issue if they stopped AI generating their textures, but that's probably not going to happen, because that leads into my other issue, is the greed, the scummy business practices, and how the game has become the too good to be true game that a lot of people were concerned that it was at the time that it came out. When Marvel Rivals came out, it genuinely shocked me and many others in how fair a free-to-play game was. I mean, the devs were very generous with giving out credits and having free skins and all kinds of just really cool stuff that was really fun to be there for. Like, they would just give you credits for joining their email list. It was definitely a smart way to get people interested and invested, and it not only invested in the game, but invested in the people who make it, trusting that they know what's best and that they're listening and want the best for the community. But recently, I think the mask is really starting to slip a lot. I think genuinely whatever teams are responsible for skin distribution, for the planning of how skins are released, it feels malicious, and it's just kind of like some over-exaggerated, zesty Jesus type bullshit. But fucking whatever his name is, the guy who made Luna Snow, there's the classic joke of, oh, she gets 20 more legendaries, but that is real. That is actually just what's going to happen, because the fucking guy who made Luna Snow can't stop fucking gooning to her. It is genuinely weird. It is genuinely weird how he treats that fucking character, but whatever. I think skin distribution has been stupid for the most part, just genuinely, actually brainlessly stupid. What really irks me, though, is the actual battle pass itself. This Egypt-themed battle pass has 6 non-Egypt skins and then 5 Egypt skins. Are you fucking kidding me? I hate that. And it's not just a Marvel Rivals issue. This is like a Fortnite shit, an Overwatch shit. If you're gonna have the theme of a season, actually commit to that fucking theme. Don't have a battle pass that's half of your theme and then half random fucking bullshit. And I don't want to hear any bullshit about, oh, what if you don't want any of the Egyptian stuff and you just want some other cool skins? Release those skins separately. And don't buy the battle pass if you don't want them. There's so many things that seem so obvious that the Marvel Rivals devs and every other dev just doesn't seem to fucking understand. But I also fucking hate that the same characters keep getting skins. And again, this is a more broad issue, and I'll talk about Overwatch as well, actually, with this one. I hate the skin distribution in Marvel Rivals. I hate that Luna Snow and Invisible Woman basically get every skin. Psylocke gets every fucking skin. It's unreal. It's genuinely unreal that with every single season, you can expect at least one Luna skin and one Psylocke skin, and probably one Invisible Woman skin too. It is genuinely pathetic. It's some Gooner bullshit. And I'm not some pearl clutcher who hates Gooner shit. I want some naked skins, goddammit. But this is ridiculous. Everyone should get an equal slice of the pie, and Luna's out here getting fat and inflated, just eating up all of the pie. It's just fucking stupid, and I'm tired of that shit. Also, Venom needs at least one good skin. All of his skins have been fucking dog shit, and that is really, really sad. He needs at least one good skin. And I've been doing a lot of complaining, but even when I get frustrated that Psylocke has, 8 more skins in one half season, they're still fantastic looking skins. They look great. I think most Marvel Rivals skins, even if they're stupidly distributed, stupidly themed, I do think that they look pretty good. And that annoys me too, these fantastic artists are basically only working on characters that sell well instead of fleshing out a skin series, I don't think there's even one consistent skin theme for any characters. You can't have your roster set out to one theme, and I think that sucks, because there's very clearly sets, like skin sets, like the Ultron ones, like the binary fucking infection shit. We could have some more of that. We could have more Van Dyne shit. I would love to see full swimsuits for everybody. That would be cool. I know that takes time, but they're not exactly on top of that. You know, Hellfire Gala skins, full X-Men suits for the applicable ones. I wish there was more thought put into the theming of skins and the overreaching theming of skins. Because let's think here, the Guardians of the Galaxy skins, right? I don't think ever again we're going to get a skin bundle of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like all of them are going to get their own skins. They're all getting them separately. You know, Groot will get like 1 skin a year. Mantis will get like maybe 4, or maybe Rocket gets another like China pandering skin. I don't know, but I just wish there were like skin series that were more consistently put out for more characters. Now onto Overwatch. I think there's a big Kiriko-sized issue, and it's that she gets all of the skins. She's basically the Luna Snow, the industry plant that gets all of the attention and no nerfs ever, and all the skins. Overwatch's problem is kind of getting worse in that Juno is starting to get just as many skins as Kiriko. I think she's kind of creeping up there too. And I love Juno. I think she's fantastic. I love playing her. I love her personality. I love her character a lot. But what bothers me is that Juno is not a character to the artist. She's a dress-up doll to put whatever clothes they want and to theme her however they want, with absolutely no respect to who she is and what her established character lore is and her established outfits. One thing that I think people have really started to pick up on that bothers the shit out of me is that I think, other than default, there's one other skin out of all of Juno's skins that has a helmet. The Martian character has one other skin that's not default that has a helmet. How is that not the most like stupid, frustrating thing ever? Especially for, let's say, her new summer skin. How cute and not that hard would it have been to have like a bubble around her head, you know? And that would have also been kind of fun to have like a little sound effect, you know, like a little water sound effect on her voice. That'd be kind of fun. That would justify a legendary skin. Remember when those things were kind of unique? Me too. But I just can't stand by anymore and just not say anything about Juno's lack of helmet. She's a Martian. She has her fucking little anti-grav boots because those are essential to her character design. And in my eyes, the helmet is also essential to her character design. And every single skin gets rid of the helmet. It's fucking stupid. And I think it's just a clear lack of respect for who the pre-established character of Juno is. And they don't care to give her a skin that's in character for her. They'll give her a skin that'll sell well. They'll make her blonde and they'll get rid of her helmet. And that's fucking annoying. Again, as Juno's #1 fan, this is very frustrating to see. And that's where my biggest issue is. I think it's annoying that Kiriko keeps getting skins, but what I find even more annoying is that Juno keeps getting skins, but they don't respect her as a character. Kiriko is such a blank slate that you can do anything with her. She barely has established character. Kiriko fucking sucks. And I hate to say that because I think she's fun to play and I really want to like her. But holy shit, she sucks. It's gotten fixed recently and I'm so beyond glad for that. But they put her into the game with no respect towards the lore. Of course, the whole debacle with Hanzo and Genji is fucking stupid. The seemingly insistence on just not admitting that magic exists despite everything that Kiriko does.
But Mom, the fox spirit can block bullets and balance your blood sugar. She's an all-purpose kind of spirit. All-purpose. Like flour. Which makes donuts.
I think she just breaks everything that was pre-established with Overwatch, but it doesn't matter because she's Kiriko. She can do anything. The worst part to me is her voice acting. It is atrocious. And this isn't like a slight against her voice actor because she's Penny in Marvel Rivals, and she sounds great as Penny. I know her voice actor is very talented and very good at what she does. But as Kiriko, she sounds completely lifeless, and she has absolutely no character or any timbre to her voice. There's nothing about Kiriko that you can grab onto. And I don't think that's a problem with her voice actor. I think that's voice direction. Despite other characters having good voice acting. I don't know if every character has their own individual voice directors or whatever, but whoever's directing Kiriko's voice actor needs to be shot in the head because they're not getting what they need out of her. And it's not helped by her shitty writing. You know, Kiriko is a jack of all trades character where she can be really cool and she can be sweet and she can be passive aggressive and she can be badass. And you know, a character can be all of those things, but she's so basic and there's nothing to her at all. All of her interactions in game are so milquetoast and boring. Her cinematic is the closest thing to being a character that Kiriko has ever had. Whereas with basically every other cinematic, they show more of what each character is about, but you already know them from what you hear and see in the game. Whereas Kiriko is literally just perfect. She's just perfect in every way. If someone says something weird to her, she's gonna say, yeah, you guys are pretty weird. Or she'll give sage advice to someone who needs it. Or she'll clap back with a super witty response to someone who slights her. She's written with absolutely no character, no sauce. She's portrayed with no sauce. And that's just disappointing. I would be a lot less disappointed about Kiriko if she wasn't so fucking bland and pointless. And that's kind of why I care a lot more about Juno's, because I actually like Juno a lot. And she's very fun to play, and she's very fun to watch and listen to. Her character is fun. Her backstory is interesting. Juno is an interesting character. But then the art team does absolutely fuck all with it. They take away the one thing that makes her very different from everybody else. It's kind of like a free-to-play type of issue where characters don't evenly get skins. They don't get skins that make sense for them. They get what will sell. They get skins that look good on spreadsheets and numbers and are focus tested for people and are focus tested to make as much money as possible, and it's really fucking frustrating. And I could honestly talk about Overwatch forever because while they've been getting better, I think they're still greedy as fuck, and I think being free to play is more of a detriment than having to pay $30-40 to get into the game. This might be kind of a hot take, but I'd rather purchase Overwatch at full price again than have this be free to play, because I'm so fucking tired of the free to play business model of just pure greed. Because what else can they do to make money? Nothing. So they have to be as scummy as possible. Which brings us back to Marvel Rivals. Like I said before, things started out extremely fair. We got credits all the time. You got lots of credits from the Battle Pass. You would get enough credits from the Battle Pass to be able to buy the next one, which is pretty fucking cool. And you could earn costume coins to get just a free skin. There were events for free skins. There was that Iron Man skin where you just put in a code and then you get it. That's pretty cool stuff. But they don't do that type of thing anymore. Instead, they released skins on throughout their theme for whatever they're doing, and they have these gacha events. So many gacha events. Instead of just releasing the skin into the store like you would do with a regular skin, they attach certain skins to a gacha event, whether that be popping balloons, going fishing, fucking doing whatever else, like building a Christmas themed little postcard thing, whatever. But I think objectively the worst thing are these balloon popping gacha events. They are fucked up because basically it's gambling. Like it's actually just gambling, and in possibly the most scummy way imaginable. I hate gacha mechanics. I hate the way China makes money off of video games. Essentially, if you've never done these balloon popping events, you've got a bundle of balloons and the promise that you're gonna get a brand new skin. Now, within this bundle of balloons, you've got the skin that you want, and then you've got like a highlight intro, emotes, emojis, the typical, spray, stuff like that. And basically, the balloons kind of do a little circle around, and you just pop one. And whatever balloon you pop, that's what you get. Now, I probably don't have to tell you that that's scummy as fuck, but I'm going to anyways. That's scummy as fuck. Because basically, you're given this promise of, oh, if you pop the balloon, you've got a chance of getting a skin. And what's fucked up is that you can get a skin from that first pop. That's where they get you. And now, I've never personally had that. I've had to complete the full runaround to get a skin, which is fucked up and feels gross. But I'm honestly glad, because I hold the opinion that the balloon popping shit is fucking stupid and I'm not doing it anymore. I got the skins that I wanted out of it, so I'm done. I don't think I could say the same thing if I had gotten a skin first or second try. I'm glad that I had to drag out the entire thing, because I'd probably be fucking sucked in. It's an incredibly scummy tactic, because it's telling your brain, you know, oh fuck, this is possible. We can get this. This is within grasp. Because it's clearly possible to get this on the first pop. It's the second pop, the third pop. And I just gotta keep going until I get it. And by the time you're done, you're on the last balloon, and it costs like 1,200 credits to pop the last one, and you already know what it is. What is extra fucked up about it is that it doesn't have to be scummy. If you get lucky and pop that first balloon and you get the skin, you've spent 200 credits on a skin, and that's pretty cool. But that's incredibly rare. You're probably going to be spending the full price just because this is Chinese gambling. It's fucked up, and the house always wins. I genuinely hate this type of gacha thing. I don't think I really need to keep talking about it, but holy fuck, it needs to stop. Just release the skins in the goddamn thing, or make more mini battle passes. I don't love those. I think they're objectively way better than gacha events, because you can just buy them and then own them forever. Whereas the gacha events work off of FOMO. You know, the gacha events only last for a short amount of time, and so do the mini battle passes unless you buy them. But you probably would buy them anyways, because that's how you get all of the rewards from them. So I don't hate mini battle passes too much. I think it's a lot less fucked up and scummy of a tactic. I think all of this gacha bullshit needs to end, but it's not going to. Honestly, I think it's going to get worse, because they did the hard work in the beginning and they got the goodwill from people, and they're slowly making things a little bit worse, a little less fair, and you don't even notice, because good things are still going on. You know, you can choose which skin you want in your little mini battle pass. That's so epic, and that is a good thing. I do like a lot of what Marvel Rivals does. You know, for example, at the end of a battle pass, if you're still earning chrono tokens, you can just use those leftover tokens to buy some more actual usable credits, or you can buy another thing that's escaping my mind right now. That is a good thing to do, and every game should do that. But I also am starting to notice that although they do these good things, they are creaking the door open a little bit to scummier practices, like the gacha shit. And really, all of this long-winded shit to say is just be careful. Engage with this gambling at your own risk. I think it's fucked up and scummy, but if you want to engage in it, go for it. I would highly recommend against it, because the more you engage with it, the more they're going to put it in the game. But whatever, I'm just one guy. But I think it is fucked up, and I'm tired of seeing these gacha events. But now I want to jump to my real thesis statement. The whole reason why I started thinking about this to begin with. And it was me and my pal Applecaster, Hunter. We were just talking about Marvel Rivals and just, you know, having a little conversation, giving our opinions on the game. And I expressed some content with constant hero releases. I think that at first, it was a really cool selling point. Oh my god, a new hero every half season? That's insane. I think anyone that isn't clouded by excitement can see that that's a real fucking problem, and it has become a problem. I don't think it's become an unmanageable one yet, but it 100% will be at some point. And so I kind of just had the thought that they should at some point slow down and do one hero per season, because that is more manageable than 2 heroes every season. That's just ridiculous. But then Hunter said something that was really interesting to me. He said something along the lines of, well, if they don't have these constant hero releases, why would people, like, continue playing the game? I would just get bored and stop playing. Initially, I had the opinion that that's the player's fault for being such a brain-rotted idiot that you can't play a game and enjoy it unless it has constant content coming out. And I do still kind of think that you gotta be a real fucking idiot to not enjoy a game if it's not constantly pumping shit out. But I don't think that's the whole thing. I think that's a more broad issue that isn't just the player's fault. I think that's the fault of the developers for not making an interesting enough game. Now, as we know, Applecaster's the normie of all normies, but I think a lot of people feel this way. And I think that's a developer issue, because I've been really getting back into Team Fortress 2. I took roughly a year break, 2 years in terms of YouTube, but I took about a year break from Team Fortress 2, and I'm finally coming back to it, and I'm having a fantastic time. But it really puts things into perspective for me, and this isn't just going to turn into a TF2 good, Marvel Rivals / Overwatch bad. There is something here that makes Team Fortress 2 a game that sticks around, a game that people continue to play after almost, we're coming on 10 years of no new content. So there's gotta be something. I think that just fundamentally boils down to game design. You know, Team Fortress 2, is in no way perfect. It has so many issues that need solved, but we're not gonna get into that because at its base, at its core, at the what it is, Team Fortress 2 is so fundamentally solid and well designed that even after nearly 10 years of nothing, the game is still fun and it feels, you know, relatively fresh. Just in its bones, it's a fantastic game. It doesn't need new content, as great as that would be. It doesn't need it to be fun. And I think a lot of games don't. Hell, I think probably Marvel Rivals would, if it never got more content again, would still be a fun game. But I don't think it has the kind of longevity that something like TF2 or fucking, I don't know, World of Warcraft has, you know? And this does boil down to them being different games. Even Team Fortress 2 and Marvel Rivals are very different games. Basically, their only similarity is that you play different characters that shoot at each other. Again, it's not just a TF2 good, Marvel Rivals bad, but it's more of Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, Fortnite, whatever, bad because bad game design. Now, I'm not a historian. I don't know all of these things for sure. I'm a bit of a new gen, as they say. But I think TF2 is stuck around because of its simplicity. A game sticks around because it's simple. You know, think of like a board game like chess. You know, we still play chess because it's super easy to figure out. You know, there's not fireworks going around. There's not giant streams of water. There's not all types of shit. It is a simple game that you sit down and understand. But there is a massive, massive skill ceiling. In essence, it's easy to pick up and hard to master. And that, at its core, is what makes TF2 so interesting to come back to time and time again and keep playing. Because there's so much to learn and so much tech to figure out that you never truly master it. You only ever get better at it. Whereas I think games like Overwatch or Marvel Rivals have massive skill ceilings that still have not been touched. So really quick, I just want to give like a small demonstration, a little comparison between the skill floors of just simply moving between TF2 and Overwatch / Rivals. I don't have Rivals open because I think Overwatch and Marvel Rivals have pretty much the same type of movement type stuff where all of the movement of a character doesn't come from your knowledge of the world around you. The intricacies and the potential glitches of certain characters' movements, all of their movement comes from your abilities. You know, you can't really, there's no such thing as like a crouch jump in this game. You can't get yourself extra height by doing something kind of silly and seemingly nonsensical because of the, the engine. Rivals and Overwatch have very simple movement, and there's nothing wrong with that. They have very simple movement. You know, you go where you expect to go. There's no silly velocity mechanics. There's nothing to really get tripped up on and like properly learn about Overwatch as a game, its movements. You more of learn what the individual characters can do when they move. For example, like Doomfist, he's got some fun things that you can do. I can't do them, but there's fun things that you can do with Doomfist, and there was a lot more fun things that you could do with him in the past. My least favorite thing about Overwatch's movement is that when there is a fun little glitch discovered, they kind of patch it out, which is what happened to Doomfist pretty much anytime someone's discovered like a fun rollout or something. I kind of hate that shit. Exploiting glitches is kind of what makes the skill ceiling so high in, let's say, Team Fortress 2. The games have a very different feel. I'm sure it's not quite as easy to tell, you know, just as you watch it, but when you play the two games, they feel incredibly different. Overwatch and Marvel Rivals have a very fluid way of moving. They have just a world gravity that makes a whole lot of sense. Like I said, there's no velocity bullshit to deal with, whereas Team Fortress 2 has some of the most bizarre like movement stuff and gravity and velocity, all that type of shit that just makes kind of no sense. You know, in Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, it's very simple. If you hold a button and then you jump, you go that direction. But in TF2, it feels really, really bad if you've never done something like that before, just because of the very bizarre way that the physics engine works. It's incredibly janky. But that's what makes the tech so fun and interesting to learn. There's a few very, very specific things to learn in TF2 that you don't need to learn for any other game, basically. That's non-source. One of those things you can see I'm doing right now is bee-hopping. Essentially, just again, the way that the weird gravity and velocity works, if you continue carrying your momentum through a bounce, you can travel slightly faster or just travel a little unimpeded, and you can do very simple air maneuver tricks. And I wish I had like a keyboard pressing thing active right now, because what I'm doing is a lot more complex than what I would be doing in Overwatch. To keep my direction forward and to do very slight micro turns basically throughout the air, I have to hold A and D to change my direction mid-air, which is something that you can do. So like what I just did there, that's an air strafe. I held down A as I turned, and it allowed me to continue my momentum through that jump. Now, if I did it without holding it, you can't really do it, because you're not turning in the air. Whereas in Overwatch or Marvel Rivals, you've kind of got... You can just do that. You can just do that without really much of a problem. You can air strafe, but it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Whereas in TF2, if it could just come back... Whereas in TF2, it is an essential strategy that you cannot play the game without. And that's not even the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the skill ceiling of Team Fortress 2 and just the awesome little things that you can do in the game that are unlike any other. But I think that is a very long-winded and moderately simple explanation of just the very different mechanics. And part of what I think makes TF2 something I really want to come back to, because moving in this game, no other game feels like it. Like, once you've got this shit down, every other game just feels generic and simple. Everyone still playing Overwatch and Marvel Rivals are still just getting better, but there's a lot less room for flexibility here, and there's a lot more variables at play. Again, we've got completely different games here, you know. TF2 has the benefit of having 9 characters that have not changed since it came out. There's been no additions, no fundamental like nerfs to the characters themselves. There's no roster bloat. You know, these characters get different guns and different weapons that they can choose to use or choose not to use that change their stats and such. And a lot of these stats are all different from each other, but don't change the game in an insane way. You're still just killing people. And it's very grounded. You've just got guns. Whereas Valorant or Overwatch or Marvel Rivals has a lot more broad of an idea of what a hero can be and what their stats and abilities are. And that's a lot more to keep track of, a lot more numbers to tweak, a lot more visuals to create, a lot of work being put into these things. And that's not a bad thing. You know, not everything has to be so simple as TF2, but I think there is a fine line to walk, because the more things you add, the more interactions you have between characters and abilities and maps and all kinds of things to keep track of, that eventually you can't do it anymore. You just can't. And that is where I'm kind of worried about Marvel Rivals. I don't think it has longevity in its hero release windows. I genuinely don't think that it can be maintained much longer. 2 heroes a season is just insane. It worked at first because we were all kind of getting used to it, and the roster was a lot smaller. There was a lot less to worry about. But now that we have a very large roster of characters that are all mostly overtuned to shit, now with 2 separate abilities that also need to be tuned, it's a fucking mess. It's an absolute fucking mess from top to bottom. In my opinion, the balancing of the game has only gotten worse and worse and worse. And again, I'm not a comp guy, so I don't have the full spreadsheet numbers and the fucking pick rates or any shit like that. But the game is simply not fun to play. If you're fighting someone and they go behind a corner for 1 second while you reload, they're going to come back around and peek at you with full health and shields. It's fucked up and it's not fun to play against. I don't think Overwatch really has this problem because every time I play the game, I can kill people, and I don't think I'm just bad at Marvel Rivals. I'm not fantastic, but I'm not just straight up dog shit. When I shoot at someone, they should be fucking dying. I shouldn't have to stun them or stun someone else or ult on them just to kill one person. You know, that's bad game design. I really liked at first in, Season 0, Season 1, Season 2, I liked the unbalanced nature of it because it was a smaller roster of heroes that people are just learning, so them being overtuned isn't that big of a deal because we're just having some goofy fun. But now everyone in every fucking match is like Necros, just sweating profusely in every single game. Ironically, the only role that makes you feel like you're having any fun is being a healer, because you don't have to do any of the shit that makes the game fucked up and not fun, such as attacking someone being healed. It's just a whole circular issue that I don't really think can be fixed, because if you put down the healing numbers, then healers are going to go on strike because they're a bunch of little bitches. Overall, just competitively playing a game is just an absolute fucking cancer. It's just constant bitching and complaining about bullshit. But that's another fucking video for another day. But the game loop is just inherently flawed. Playing a tank isn't fun because either one, you're the only tank, or you've got 2 tanks like normal, and the tanks that you are fighting are being healed to shit, or you're playing DPS and it's pretty much the same thing, so you're not having any fun, and the only person actually having some level of enjoyment is the healer, pumping heals into their team's asshole, just mindlessly firing into their team. But the game balance is so fragile, and these people's enjoyment of the game is so fragile, that if they brought down the healing numbers to something that was actually fair, they wouldn't like it. They would be upset. So no matter what happens, someone is upset. Someone is made less effective at their job. It's just terrible balancing, and I just don't think the devs know what the fuck they're doing. The most recent thing that got people up in arms, me included, is the recent Penny nerf. I love playing Penny. She's one of my mains, and her snare, it was a long time coming. That stun felt downright disgusting to use. I felt dirty for doing it. But it could have been such a simple fix. Turn it from a 3-second cooldown to a 6-second cooldown, and it would have gotten rid of her CC spanning abilities just like that. But our wonderful devs, instead of just changing the timer on her shit, decided to completely change the way that the snare works. You can still stun people, but now you have to hit them twice with the web. You have to hit them once to put a tracer on them, and then hit them again to actually stun them. And well, yeah, that works. It's so much more clunky and less intuitive. And it's just fucking stupid when all they could have realistically had to do was up the fucking timer. They tried to outsmart the room and it didn't work. They just made Penny less effective at what she was good at, which was stopping ults and stopping big pushes. And she was also good at taking and creating space, which she's now less effective at because also her web over health or web healing shit was also decreased and made less effective. Only by 50 points, but it's just a slap in the face. It's just fucking annoying, and it's the devs clearly not knowing what they're fucking doing, and I think that's going to become more common as there are more characters. Again, coming from Team Fortress 2 and low-level Overwatch, I hate metas. I hate the concept of a meta. I hate that metas are leaned into. I hate that shit. It's so fucking annoying. Play who you want to play, and I think that's the way that games should be balanced. Every character should have their value, and every character should be viable in nearly any situation. But Overwatch and Marvel Rivals just didn't get that memo, and some characters will always be better than others. Some characters are dog shit, intentionally dog shit. Some characters are propped up in the meta just because the devs want them to be better. I just think that's fucking stupid. You know, I'm not a game dev, so maybe somehow the game is just so much less fun when everyone is viable, but I just don't see how that works. I just hate bloated casts, And, you know, with Overwatch, we're seeing a little bit of bloat happening, a little bit of poor design happening with Demon, who's just been announced. The season's coming tomorrow as of recording this. Basically, everyone has kind of pointed out that Demon is just Reinhardt, but better. She just does everything that Rein does, but she's more mobile and just more versatile. So what's the point in Reinhardt even existing anymore? Because Demon just does everything that he does, but better. I don't necessarily dislike her. I think she looks pretty cool. Her mech suit is dumb as fuck, though. Why would you have someone hanging out the front of a mech? Whatever. To me, it feels like bloat, and I think Overwatch, but especially Marvel Rivals, the release window between heroes is so short that there's really no time to fine-tune a character to be long-lasting. I think Marvel Rivals will have its time being thought about and its time of people having fun with it, but I don't think it has longevity. Now, you know, we might look back at this video in 20 years, you know, the Marvel Rivals 20-year anniversary event, you know, and be like, "Ha, isn't that guy stupid?" But frankly, I don't think Marvel Rivals is making it to 10 years. It literally cannot exist for that long, because there's something I've completely neglected as well, and is that some of these new characters have gotten really complex. It started with Daredevil, and it continued with Gambit, and then Black Cat, and then Deadpool, and you know, there's of course simple characters as well, but there's been this difficulty creep with characters, because where else do you go? You know, it's kind of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you know. Stands started off pretty simple, you know, pretty one note, and they just got more complex with time because, I mean, where do you go from there? And that works with stands, but it doesn't work with playable characters that you have to learn. And don't think I just hate difficult characters. I love Daredevil, he's one of my favorites. He's one of the only DPS I know how to play. Or Venture in Overwatch, they're probably the only DPS I'm actually pretty good at. Like, I like more complex characters, but that's because I've played the game. When it comes to new players and just people less experienced, you know, someone hopping in after a couple months, it's incredibly jarring to see characters with 2 to 3 pages of information and like upgrade paths and just shit like that. You know, it's not impossible to figure out, but it is incredibly intimidating if you don't know what it is. It's especially intimidating mid-game when you can't even fucking see what's going on because there's shit all over your screen and you're just dying. I probably have other things to say, and as I come up on this moment during editing, I'm going to think to myself, oh fuck, I missed something, to which I might add it right here.
If you use the right slow gen, you get the yogurt effect.
I'm really kind of running out of steam here. It's been an hour and 20 minutes of just yapping about Marvel Rivals and Overwatch and stuff. I guess that is kind of all I have. I don't know if this is even gonna come out because it's just a nothing video. I just kind of wanted to yap because I do love Marvel Rivals, but I hate seeing the game that it's become in the state that it's in. I want to see it do better, and I want to see its practices improve, and I want to see it last for years and years and years. But things have to change if that happens. And with that being said, though, I want to say something really positive first. Blood Hunt is fantastic. We need more PvE missions like Blood Hunt. The Avengers stuff was fine. We also need an X-Men PvE of some kind. I would love to like play Wolverine on some kind of PvE mission. That would be fucking fun as shit. They absolutely cook with PvE. That's honestly the only reason I boot up these days, is to look at skins and play some PvE. But I think that's kind of about it. So yeah, see ya.
Don't go just yet. The funnies are just beginning.